Welcome back to First Education. This is Ed. Today I'm going to be talking about TNXP. I usually don't make these videos in the morning, but I've considered making this DD per request. So first we're going to look at the technical analysis in terms of 1 month, 1 day, and then 1 hour to determine whether this is a short hold or a swinger. And then we're going to go on to the website for the company, as well as some news that I've actually noticed recently, and why I think this might actually move the way that I think it would. So first things first, you can see that the technical analysis here does look like it's kind of curling in that point. So we need to look further into that. In terms of moving averages, the 10 SMA is below the 30 MA, so we need to check that out. But it seems that the stock is in a trading action zone, which is amazing for reversals. Looking into average directional index here, you see that the average directional index seems to not indicate a powerful movement. But we need to look into the 1 hour period here. It seems that the stock is more neutral, a little bit more towards its oversold part. You can see in the momentum, the stock has decent momentum, and it seems that this stock has been trading a little bit towards a positive reversal for quite a little, which is confirmed on the last day from what it looks like. Looking into the 5 days, 1 hour period, we get to see that the stock is currently actually trading above its VWAP, and this is in the morning where it kind of had a bit of a jump here a little, and you get to see that the MACD seems to be positive, and even though after kind of decreased a little, it seems to have picked up quite nicely. Average directional index is at 3773, which is above 25 and lower than 45, so that's my sweet spot. The stock seems to be sitting somewhere neutral right now after being overbought a little bit in the morning. You get to see that actual volumes are coming in. Now we've seen that a little bit in the last few days, especially in the last day, but that was because of news, and right now the news has been settled a little, but you can see that the volumes is a little bit increasing here. You can see that the 10 SMA and the 30 SMA are very close to each other, so that's a good sign. That's signs for possible breakouts, and you can see that this price is actually currently above the 200 SMA and above the 50 SMA, which are both bullish signs. Going towards the actual stock here, let's try to see if there's any patterns that we can actually identify. So in terms of patterns here, we don't see much, but we can get to see here that there was actually a golden cross that has hit the stock, actually somewhere around here. Perfect. So let's try to look into the 1 month, 1 day, and try to determine that the stock in the RSI is still a little bit closer to the oversold part, but more around the neutral side. Right, so next is going to be doing the moving averages, and then we're going to move to the actual news. So in terms of moving average, we're going to do 1 month, 1 day. And you get to see the stock is trading on the lower moving average, so that's actually good news for me. Let's try to see here. Yep, just on the lower moving average. That's perfect. Now going on to different news for this company. So we're gonna double check here first. Okay, so TNXP released an actual 8K form a little bit earlier, or that was last week on July 1st. It was actually submitted. So they're gonna be buying on July 1st. They entered a purchase into sale agreement with sellers named therein the seller pursuant blah 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 blah. They bought 40,000 square foot commercial building in Massachusetts for $4 million. Company will pay $40,000 as initial non-refundable deposit. The one thing here is I want to check if they have enough cash to handle that payment, and perhaps if there's any details regarding their ability to pay. Okay, so non-refundable deposit upon conclusion of a 60-day diligence period. Company may terminate the agreement. Okay, so they still have 60 days basically. All right, perfect for this. This basically says the exact same information for this in here, 40,000, blah, 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 blah. And they actually have mentioned that they will continue collaborative certain cases with outside partners, such as its current collaboration with Southern West Research for preclinical trials with Fujifilm, blah, 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 and the manufacturing of TNX-801 and TNX-1800 vaccines for smallpox and COVID-19, respectively. So it seems that they're actually working on a COVID-19 as well vaccine, and so there is some catalysts going on there, especially when the price is considerably still beat down quite a bit. Now, there is also another thing that was happened on June 26th, where they raised their common stock from 150 million authorized shares to 400 million. So that seems to be that they have some stocks on the shelf for later on. So I would be a little bit concerned for longer term actual hold, but not very much of a shorter term. So if I'm actually holding it for a day or so, that might be actually a good catch in there. But I wouldn't hold this for something like 2 weeks or a week, just in case an offering happens. So I would give this more of a 2 to 3 days hold. Taking a quick look into here, we get to see that they're actually working on something else as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on to their website, but in a second we can get to see that there is a bit of institutional buying that has happened on the first, well, this is June, 1st of June. But it seems that the actual latest transaction seems to be on a buy. On They increased their shares around 370 something 5,000 shares, so that's pretty much a large amount. And I don't see much dumping in the recent days, especially past perhaps well, it's been a quite a while compared to buying versus selling. So next things next, we're going to be going on to the company's website right now, in order to determine what kind right here, what kind of drugs they have in the pipeline. So into the pipeline here, you get to see that they have multiple drugs that are actually going into phase 2. So that could be some FDA's catalysts in there. You get to see that they have some drugs going on to phase 3 and phase 2. Now, their preclinical pipelines, and I know one of them is the COVID-19 one, where I think the COVID-19 one is not even here, but it's a TNX-1800 from my understanding from the other form. I'm not sure, you can just go back a little bit in the video. But you can see that they do have preclinical trials for some of the drugs. So it looks like it's promising. It has a good future. Oh, it's right here, TNX 1800. But my only concern is later on in the future, perhaps in 2-3 weeks, it might see an offering. But in terms of short term, whether especially at a price that it's actually at in here, I can get to see this stock go at least to 0.7. So we're gonna quickly go on to see. We're gonna quickly go on in order to see what the Fibonacci retracement for this. So we're gonna go on to here, trend line. We can see that the Fibonacci retracements is at 0.68 and 0.71. So I can see it going around to 0.71 with the good news. Now let's take a quick look into the pre-market, and we get to see that it has already broken that 0.64. So the next one is 0.68 and 0.71. In terms of resistance, it has a resistance of 0.65. And a good support at 0.62 to 0.63. So in terms of this, let's see if it actually holds that. If it does hold that, it might actually be a little bit of a nice runner. My only concern here is in the 1 hour period, it's actually getting a little bit too overbought situation. But in terms of the 1 day, you can get to see at a pullback, the stock might actually be very beautiful. Thank you very much. That's been my opinion about this stock. Make sure you mention down yours below in the comments. Make sure you share, subscribe, and like, and you can always follow me on Twitter. The handle is down in the comments below. Have a wonderful day.